as a fighter. I think he's amazing. I think he has great technique. He has crazy knockout power.
We all know Tank best weight is 35, 40. You fought Barrios at 40, 35, 40. And you fight Jake Paul, who getting better. I'm like I said, and he got 6 feet tall. Where Tank gonna hit him?
Gervonta "Tank" Davis ignited the first day of his training camp for the highly anticipated clash with Jake Paul with explosive energy. From the very start, he displayed the kind of intensity that reminds fans why he's considered one of boxing's most dynamic talents. During pad work, Davis unleashed a staggering 35-punch combination, blending blistering speed with devastating power. Every jab, hook, and uppercut was executed with pinpoint precision, showcasing the sharpness and focus he's bringing into camp. Observers quickly noted that his footwork, angles, and defensive maneuvers were on full display, reflecting the disciplined approach Davis is taking to dominate inside the ring. Social media quickly caught fire as Tank shared a post on Instagram, writing, "See y'all soon. I guess ATL is going to be two-turned." He followed up with, "Tell them to send that bag, and I'm coming." This wasn't just hype, it was a statement. Davis made it clear he is hungry to return to the squared circle and demands the respect and proper financial reward that comes with his talent. In a sport where fighters constantly juggle legacy and business, Tank's words resonate deeply. Long before the fight was even official, Gervonta "Tank" Davis made his opinion of Jake Paul crystal clear. He dismissed Paul's early boxing efforts as trash, echoing the skepticism many seasoned fighters share toward celebrities jumping into the sport. Davis suggested that Paul turned to boxing out of boredom, having conquered platforms like YouTube, highlighting the divide between traditional purists and the entertainment-driven newcomers reshaping boxing. Yet, despite Tank's harsh words, Paul's persistence and surprising skill forced even the elite to take notice. What was once viewed as a gimmick has evolved into one of the most buzzed-about matchups in recent memory. The fact that Davis himself is now agreeing to face Paul inside the ring speaks volumes. It's a testament to how far Paul has come, transforming initial mockery into serious competitive credibility and turning hype into a full-fledged boxing spectacle that fans cannot ignore.
I text that again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, yeah, and that, stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them to send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm, you know.
The Davis versus Paul matchup has ignited a heated debate across boxing circles. Many purists fear the sport is shifting from a focus on skill, merit, and legacy to a spectacle-driven arena dominated by hype and entertainment. Critics argue that fights like this risk turning professional boxing into a sideshow, where flash overshadows true athletic excellence. Yet, this perspective only tells half the story. Boxing has always thrived at the intersection of sport and showmanship. Legends like Muhammad Ali combined unmatched skill with charisma, while Mike Tyson dominated pay-per-view with sheer presence, proving that spectacle and legacy can coexist. How fans perceive the Davis-Paul fight ultimately depends on their view of that balance. Whether they see it as a gimmick that cheapens the sport or as an opportunity to witness high-level athletes delivering drama, excitement, and a spectacle that keeps boxing culturally relevant and financially powerful.
What do you think of former athletes and celebrities like Jake Paul taking up boxing? You think that grows the sport?
If he's doing it for the right reason, actually want to do it because of just like actually want to box, it's cool. But if he's doing it for like the wrong reason, just to get the hype and stuff like that, I feel as though it's trash. Sometimes people get bored of what they doing, and they want to try other stuff. Got to be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
For sure. That's all I got. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Former super middleweight contender Jesse Hart didn't hold back when addressing critics of Gervonta "Tank" Davis taking on Jake Paul. Hart insisted that many are missing the bigger picture. Davis isn't turning his back on legacy. He's navigating the modern boxing business. He emphasized, Tank has the right to prioritize financial opportunities, even if some interpret it as joining the circus. Hart's comments highlight a split even among fighters themselves. Some argue Davis should chase elite names like Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez, sticking strictly to the competitive ladder. Others recognize that massive paydays, especially against a globally recognized opponent like Paul, are impossible to ignore. Hart framed Davis's choice not as betrayal, but as smart, strategic business. While analysts overwhelmingly back Davis's skills, Hart's defense underscores that in today's boxing world, calculated financial moves are just as crucial as wins inside the ring.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Boxing commentator Andy Ross shook the conversation by predicting a Jake Paul victory. He argued that while the matchup benefits both fighters, Paul's size and unorthodox style could tilt the scales in his favor. This perspective highlights the unpredictable nature of the fight. Paul may lack Davis's elite pedigree, but his physical advantages, confidence, and unconventional tactics make him a dangerous opponent. Ross's view, though controversial, echoes those who believe Paul deserves more respect than traditional boxing insiders are willing to give. The prediction underscores the intrigue surrounding the bout, where questions of skill, hype, and marketability collide, and even some experts aren't certain the fight will actually come to fruition.
Yes, man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not. You got a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont Roach, there's still a question mark on that fight. There was still a question mark on that rumble. You just gonna leave it and then go right to the money and say, no, I ain't. That's how you know legacy and everything don't matter. I did that before. I took the money with the Joe Smith fight when my hand was fucked up and, excuse my language, my hand was messed up, broke in training camp, and I still said, yo, no, I'm taking that. I'm still fighting him. I'm not gonna not fight him again. I'm gonna fight. We're fighting him, Dad. We're fighting him, Rick. We're fighting him, Fred. I went against everybody. Jesse, don't take the fight, man. Let your hand heal. Let's get the surgery. No, I'm fighting him. It's too close. We 3 weeks out. I'm fighting him.
Coach Bernie dismissed the Davis versus Paul matchup entirely, claiming he doesn't see it happening, not even as an exhibition. To him, the fight lacks credibility and feels driven more by hype than genuine competition. His skepticism isn't unusual. High-profile crossover bouts have collapsed during negotiations before. Bernie's doubts reflect a larger hesitation in boxing to embrace celebrity-fueled matchups. Yet, with both Davis and Paul publicly committed, his prediction could be proven wrong. Still, his perspective underscores that even inside the sport, many insiders remain unconvinced about the legitimacy of the fight, highlighting the tension between entertainment and tradition in modern boxing.
For more things for Lego, Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Davis.
Crazy.
Your thoughts on this?
I have locks with Snaggy right there. I think Jake Paul wins that fight. Look, obviously Gervonta Davis has way more experience. He's a hell of a fighter. He's done so much more for boxing and than a lot of people. But to say that, that's not, everyone's going to want to watch that fight. I think it's a genius idea. I think Jake Paul sets the craziest expectations, and I think he sets the bar so high now in the boxing world. Jake Paul revived boxing. People could say what they want to say about it, but Jake Paul really revived the sport of boxing. Joe Rogan once said previously, not so long ago, but he did speak about how boxing would eventually die out and all the eyes would shift to MMA. And it's true. I sit there, I'll watch UFC whenever there's an amazing pay-per-view event. I'm always watching it. Boxing, I don't really watch it as much. And yeah, you can call me a casual to the sport. I'm just getting into it. But the people that are just getting into the sport, UFC is like the new boxing, what it was 20, 30 years ago. So Jake Paul is changing and reviving the sport of boxing, in my opinion. But I think that Jake Paul wins that fight. I love Gervonta as a fighter. I think he's amazing. I think he has great technique. He has crazy knockout power. Don't underestimate him.
You've spoken to him before, haven't you?
Yeah.
When you're doing it was you and Ron Garcia and Gervonta and Tank when they were both fighting.
Yeah. I just spoke with Gervonta today, actually. So when I get back to Miami, him and I might do something. I don't know. But, I think, like I said, don't count him out, but I think Jake Paul wins that fight.
Many boxing analysts and insiders have weighed in on Gervonta "Tank" Davis taking the fight against Jake Paul, and the opinions are explosive. Critics question the logic. How does a 135-pound champion face a 6-foot, 200-pound YouTuber? Observers point out the massive weight difference and wonder if Tank's power will even connect. Yet, others see it differently. Paul has relentlessly pursued legitimacy, beating former MMA champions and turning spectacle into credibility. For Davis, this fight isn't a career risk, it's a strategic move to expand his brand and reach new fans worldwide.